Hello and welcome to Matching Brackets. When I started using Linux, I had no idea as to what I was doing. I remember those days fondly because even though I was completely lost, I was still having a lot of fun exploring this new Linux world. I spent a lot of time creating on the desktop, and starting Matching Brackets is a way to share my journey into Linux with new users. But regardless, I had to start somewhere, and just like you, I also started looking for videos on YouTube. When I started learning about Linux, I relied heavily on YouTube for my education. While they also talked about using the terminal, I decided to avoid it now, and while I was getting used to this new operating system. I'm not ranking these channels. These are simply creators who helped me at different points in my Linux journey, and this video is my way of saying thank you. If any of these YouTube channels interest you, please give them a visit and see what they can do for you. The Linux Experiment. The thing that stood out to me at the time was the coverage of Elementary OS. At the time, Elementary OS didn't have a lot of features as it does now, but it was still covered and coveted by the Linux Experiment. But it's also Nick's news coverage. I really like the way he explains the situations going on in the open source community. He makes difficult topics easier to understand, and I appreciate that. Switched to Linux. You can expect unbiased, real advice and down-to-earth explanations that you can clearly understand. You'll also get some great news and information about Linux that's easy to follow and understand. What impressed me about Switch to Linux was that he used Linux Mint for his daily work for years. Seeing someone actually rely on Linux for real work made me want to do the same. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be able to get too involved with all the comings and goings when it comes to Linux. But it's good to have a resource like Switch to Linux to get this information from. Explaining computers. I learned a lot from Explaining Computers. This has to be one of the first YouTubers I found making videos pertaining to Linux. Explaining Computers had taken me from my first Linux install to purchasing a Raspberry Pi to use as a computer. If there is someone I strive to emulate Matching Brackets, it's Christopher Barnett at Explaining Computers. Learn Linux TV. You can expect some well put together step-by-step tutorials and well-prepared commentary on topics that you'll find interesting. I'll be honest, some of the topics presented here are way too advanced for me, but the ones I've followed I've had great success with. What stood out to me was how professional everything looked. The thumbnails, the chapters, the screen captures, and narration all felt polished and intentional. Through Learn Linux TV, I learned how to install Debian from the net installer and even learned how to install Arch using the Arch install script. DistroTube. Admittedly, sometimes the topics are a bit too advanced for me and go straight over my head, to be honest. But he makes a lot of videos that have helped me in the past and makes up when he gets too technical. What stood out for me was Derek's solid stance towards open source projects. He loves them and stays away from proprietary software as much as possible. I learned quite a bit from DistroTube, but I think of Derek and his channel when I'm presented with proprietary software. Because of him, I always look for open source alternatives. Linux Mensch. This channel stood out to me was because of Mr. Mensch. Mensch is a Yiddish word that I used to hear in my neighborhood in New York City. A mensch is a high compliment describing someone of exceptional character, integrity, and honor, a stand-up guy, or someone you can completely trust and admire. At least that's what Google says a mensch is. But seeing the word mensch being used on a YouTube channel, It triggered a lot of memories from my childhood in New York City, so I simply had to subscribe. The Linux Mensch has helped me understand a few Linux distros even better by his reviews and walkthroughs, especially Arch. Veronica explains. You can expect to have a smile on your face by watching one of Veronica's videos. She has a way of explaining things it's a way that's tongue-in-cheek with a dash of sarcasm and wit. Veronica's videos are a fun time, and you'll learn something too. I wish I could deliver a video like Veronica does. I just don't have that sass factor. Veronica's delivery stood out to me, as well as the fact that here was a lady doing Linux videos, which is a nice change. The Linux Cast. Matt at the Linux Cast sometimes uses adult language. I mention this because some people don't care to hear foul language. But with that said, I love to see Matt's take on things. I value his opinion, truly. His opinion is the thing that stood out to me. He shares it freely and passionately. It's clear that he works very hard with his channel and his podcasting. The Linux Cast has taught me it's okay to change your mind. And it's okay to change things. It's okay to distro hop. This is how you explore Linux. Logos by Nick. Whenever I needed to learn Inkscape, Nick was usually the first person I went to. His tutorials are clear, fast-paced, and easy to follow if you're willing to keep up. Not only that, but the art he creates is so top-notch. You're going to love Logos by Nick. Take a look. TJ Free. You can expect not to only learn the software mentioned in each video how it works, but you'll also be introduced to new software that you might not have heard before. Rendon usually provides a series of videos on a piece of software so you can get used to it well enough if you want to know if you're going to continue using it. I like the fact that there was a number of videos available on a particular software, not just one. And I learned about a FOSS free and open source alternative to Figma, which is a website creator called PenPot, which I'm going to have to check out for myself. These creators help me learn Linux, and in a lot of ways they help me get the confidence to start matching brackets. If you've got a favorite Linux creator that helped you along the way, let us know about them in the comments so we could take a look at their channels. I hope this video has earned your like, your comment, and hopefully your subscription. And if you like videos like this, be sure to click on the notification bell so you can know when new videos are available. But that's going to be all from me for today. Until next time, take care.